The story begins exactly where the first movie ended. Laura, the young woman from Poland, finds herself back in the same dangerous tunnel where everything went wrong before. She barely survived a terrible car crash that was meant to kill her, but the accident caused her to lose the baby she was carrying. The saddest part was that Laura never got the chance to tell Massimo about her pregnancy before the crash happened. When Massimo discovered that Laura was still alive, he felt incredibly relieved and happy, not knowing about the baby they had lost. After surviving such a frightening experience, Laura and Massimo decided they wanted to get married as soon as possible. Before their wedding day arrived, Massimo visited Laura at her apartment for a romantic encounter, right on her kitchen table. Unfortunately, Laura's best friend Olga walked in and saw them together. Olga quickly sent her own husband away, gave Laura lots of beautiful underwear to choose from for the wedding, and then they all headed to the ceremony. Massimo and Laura had their wedding in a beautiful old church, surrounded by friends and family members. After the religious ceremony ended, they moved to a fancy reception where everyone celebrated their new marriage. When the newlywed couple finally had some private time alone together, Laura decided to surprise her new husband in a very bold way. She tied Massimo to a chair and performed an intimate show for him using various adult toys, which excited him so much that he eventually joined her in their passionate activities. While Laura and Massimo were enjoying their honeymoon period, another romance was blooming nearby. Domenico, one of Massimo's trusted men, had fallen in love with Laura's best friend Olga. One day he accidentally walked in on Olga while she was taking a relaxing bath. At first, Olga felt upset and ignored by Domenico's lack of attention to the eye. After thinking about her situation more carefully, Laura realized that perhaps having a life of luxury without responsibilities wasn't completely terrible. She and Olga went to an expensive restaurant where they had a wonderful time eating delicious food and catching up on their friendship. When Laura returned home that evening, she put on her most beautiful and seductive lingerie to show Massimo how much she appreciated him, and he responded enthusiastically to her romantic gesture. The next morning, Laura wanted to continue their romantic activities from the previous night, but once again, Massimo's business phone started ringing with urgent calls. He had to leave immediately for work, abandoning Laura alone in their big house. Feeling lonely and bored, Laura went to visit Olga at her place, but she ended up interrupting another intimate moment between Olga and Domenico, who were enjoying their own private time together. Despite all the changes in their lives since getting involved with these powerful mafia men, Laura and Olga remained incredibly close friends who supported each other through everything. They were willing to face any danger or difficulty together, knowing they could always count on each other. The most important thing was that they continued to enjoy the financial security and protection that came from being connected to Massimo's wealthy criminal organization. When Laura and Olga arrived at a small, quiet restaurant for lunch, Massimo suddenly appeared and demanded that both women come with him immediately. This controlling behavior made both friends very angry because they felt like they couldn't have any independence or privacy. That evening, Laura confronted her husband about his possessive and controlling attitude, telling him clearly that she would not allow him to dictate every aspect of her life and treat her like she had no free will or perso. Laura threw herself into learning about high fashion and luxury lifestyle, then attended an elegant ball with Massimo, where her parents were also invited as guests. Even though Laura was still upset with her husband about the brother secret, she remained polite and friendly with her parents. She asked them for advice about how they had managed to keep their love strong even after many years of marriage together. Laura's parents explained that the secret to lasting love was learning how to make compromises with your partner. They told her that it's important to sometimes give in to your loved one's wishes and find middle ground, otherwise the relationship will fail. Laura found this advice helpful and decided to try applying it to her own marriage with Massimo. However, Laura's plans to compromise were ruined when she noticed Massimo on a balcony with another woman and decided to follow them secretly. To her complete shock and horror, she saw what appeared to be her husband being romantic and intimate with this other woman, which looked exactly like cheating and betrayal. Instead of confronting Massimo immediately about what she had seen, Laura became confused and emotional and decided to run away. Nacho, the handsome gardener, noticed Laura crying in the garden and offered to help her escape from the situation. Without thinking clearly, Laura asked Nacho to take her away from everything, and he agreed to drive her to his own home for safety. During their drive to Nacho's house, Laura called her mother to let her know that she was safe, but then she threw away her phone so that no one could track her location or force her to return. Once they arrived at Nacho's home, he began preparing breakfast for his unexpected guest and gave her some of his sister's clothes to wear since she had left with nothing. Nacho told Laura that he wasn't currently dating anyone, but his sigh. In the evening, Laura and Nacho watched a romantic movie together in a cozy setting, and they began to feel a strong attraction and connection developing between them. Meanwhile, Massimo had started spending time with his ex-girlfriend Anna again. After talking with Anna, Massimo realized that she was somehow involved in Laura's mysterious disappearance, and he promised to punish her severely for whatever role she had played. Anna became nervous about Massimo's threats because she knew she was guilty of plotting against Laura. It was revealed that Massimo actually had an evil twin brother named Adriano, who looked exactly like him, but had a completely different personality. Anna met secretly with Adriano to discuss their situation and make plans for revenge against Massimo. When Anna and Adriano learned that Laura had run away with Nacho, they realized this was terrible news for their plans. Adriano became so angry that he actually killed the messenger who brought them this information, showing just how dangerous and unstable he really was. Eventually, Massimo found out that Laura was living on a remote island with Nacho. He knew that Nacho wasn't really just a simple gardener, and understood that getting his wife back would be extremely difficult and dangerous. Meanwhile, Laura was having romantic dreams about Nacho every night, and their relationship was becoming more intimate and emotional. One night, an unknown man tried to break into Laura's room to hurt her, but Nacho appeared just in time and knocked the attacker unconscious. Laura thought that Nacho had killed the intruder, but Nacho explained that the man was still alive and would be handed over to the police. This incident made Laura realize that Nacho was definitely not an ordinary gardener and had many secrets he wasn't sharing with her yet. Nacho began revealing some of his secrets to Laura, explaining that when Laura and Marcello arrived at the meeting location, Laura was immediately taken away by armed bodyguards, while Marcello went into the house to meet with the family leaders. Inside, Matos explained to Massimo that his family had been responsible for the car accident in the tunnel that caused Laura to lose her baby. He wanted Massimo to understand that he needed to respect the territorial boundaries between their rival criminal organizations. However, Matos's plan was completely ruined when he discovered that Laura had been kidnapped by other enemies during the meeting. Realizing that someone had stolen his family's most important bargaining tool, Matos decided to rescue Laura and took Massimo with him as an ally. The two powerful mafia leaders armed themselves with weapons and went searching for Laura together. During her captivity, Laura finally learned the shocking truth. Massimo had an evil twin brother named Adriano, and it was Adriano, not Massimo, whom she had seen with another woman at the ball. This meant that Massimo had never actually cheated on her or betrayed their marriage. Adriano revealed his plan to kill Massimo and take control of the entire family business, with Anna helping him get revenge against Massimo for leaving her. When Massimo and Nacho found Laura's location, they discovered Adriano holding her at gunpoint while acting completely insane and dangerous. Massimo was afraid to shoot because he might accidentally hit Laura instead. In a cruel moment, Adriano told Massimo about the baby Laura had lost in the accident, shocking him with this terrible news he had never known. Laura managed to break free from Adriano and ran toward Massimo for safety. Anna tried to shoot Laura as she escaped, but the bullet only hit Laura in the side, which meant she would survive the wound. Unfortunately for Anna and Adriano, they were both killed immediately for their